Thank you for joining once again on our show. Uh, it's been a long time, Chaco, since we got onto together to have a discussion
Yes, it's been a very long
on
time, mate.
geopolitics. Yep.
Yes, yep.
So,
You've been busy, mate. You've had a couple of things come up your way that you needed to attend to, understandably. But yeah,
yep,
it's been a while.
it has been a while.
Yeah.
So, what are we talking about today, Chaco?
I thought, look, the more important thing was we talk about the downstream effects of the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I wanted to talk about was everyone is talking about fuel, right? Diesel, this, that, and petrol, and the price of fuel. I mean, we're both in Australia, and you know, now diesel is nearly $3 a liter, and petrol was $3 a liter for 98. Till the government came in and slashed 50%. I mean, 50% of their tax on it. So it's not kind of stabilized, but it's going to head upwards again. But I was going to talk more something else. What are the byproducts that are going to be problematic, right? So more like
Mm-hmm.
urea, nitrogen, sulfur, and all that, helium. Oh, these are fundamental building blocks in our society today, and how this the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, this 21-mile closure being done by Iran, is technically going to take us back decades, right? And the rebuilding of it is just going to be problematic. So
Yep.
I think because everyone is concentrating on fuel, I just thought, well, let's just have a chat about that basic fundamentals and things.
Yeah,
That's
let's do that. I mean, let's be different from everybody else.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think everyone, I'm sure, every man and his dog has covered the petrol part of it, the diesel part of it, uh, the drama that is going on in Pakistan as the whole thing goes up through the roof.
Yep.
But let's look at the other aspects of it, right? Both of us are from Africa. We both lived in you obviously have a historical attachment to Ethiopia. You are quite aware of what happened in the 80s in Ethiopia with the starvation and all that thing drama that was happening there. And
Yep.
I'm and so you this is visceral to you personally. I was in Nigeria, so I'll put it this way to
Yeah,
you,
but then
mate.
you were born during the Civil War there as well, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
just
Absolutely.
you might have dropped there, but then you had Civil War there. Though I went through the Civil War as well,
Yeah,
so yep, that was part of that.
and
And yeah,
and you
Africa has
remember
always
Live
been
Aid?
lots of drama.
You remember the Live Aid? The
Eh,
oh,
Yep,
what was it?
1988,
1998.
1986,
Oh,
86,
when was
88,
that?
and then
Yeah. So
and we are
that
the
was all.
world.
Yep. We
That's
are
where
the
it came.
world and all
Yep,
that.
it's all that
Yeah.
came.
So it was all about. Remember that was all about that. What was happening in Ethiopia, and at that time, Ethiopia and Eritrea were one place. They were
Yep.
in two countries. And so yeah. So here we are back again. Into the 70s and 80s. One of the byproducts of refining crude is nitrogen, and obviously the other aspect of it is urea, and then there's sulfur and there's helium, right?
Hmm.
But let's just talk about urea as a part of it. Urea, there are two countries that actually supply the world. Technically,
Hmm.
so everybody has urea, but
Yep.
the thing is the fundamentals of it. India has gets the urea, but you need LNG, right? And you need the Qatari LNG to get this into one, in producing urea. The other country that can supply you urea in bulk is Russia, right? So these are the two,
Hmm.
you know. So with the closure of of the Strait of Hormuz, and let's even forget about the closure of the fact that the Iranians have gone in and targeted Qatar and Bahrain and Oman and all these countries, basically has basically killed off that aspect of it, right? So there's no more refining happening, and even if there is at that, there's a 25% loss of capacity from the Qatari side. I think if that's what the last I heard, and probably worse, because I think there was a bit of a couple of missile attacks today or yesterday. So we let's just assume that there's been a significant drop. who is going to fill this? I mean, the Russians can do it, but there's only a limit to how much they can supply, and we need LNG because we also do the urea, but you need LNG for that. And yes, we're going to get it from different countries, but that is going to be a very, very big problem because don't forget, as Indians, that we are an agricultural nation, right?
Yep.
70% of our population are farmers,
Yep.
right? 70 to 80% of them are farmers. They have small plots of land, and the yield per meter is probably one of the best in the world. But are going to be nothing if we don't have urea, we don't have nitrogen. It's it's just
Yeah,
going to be
but
a problem.
apparently the government said that they made enough arrangement for this season, so I don't see that coming up as a very big problem for the planting season this year.
This year, what about
Yep.
next year?
Next year will
Take care of
next year
itself.
will come. It will take care of itself.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the problem. India is not the only country that needs to feed itself. Look at Africa.
It's every country needs to feed itself, right? So it's just
Correct.
not India. When you're talking about on such a level, it's everybody in the world, right? Every country, one way or the other, grows some food, at least a part of it. Whether it's in Africa, whether it's in Asia, whether it's in Europe,
Hmm.
whether it's in America. So I guess it's going to affect everybody, right? And
Oh, look. I mean, this.
I'm
No,
sure
but sorry,
people
sorry. Go
are
on.
the governments are getting ready to take or fix the situation or plan for it in such a way that there is minimal impact in the long run.
Yes, but here is a counter thing I feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, AK. We all moved into the concept of a consumption economy where everything was being produced, everything was interconnected. So that made sure that it was seamless on time delivery. So for you to have urea, the Qataris, if you were close to the Qataris, in the sense of geographical distance, then it was easy to get those things from there, and you can do your plantation. And if you're on the other side of the world, you could rely on the Russians, and then the Chinese would also do a bit of that too. But at the end of the day, you need LNG. It's the fundamentals of it. You need LNG to do it. So now we are seeing a break in the supply chain in one of the fundamental things that is there needed for to produce the urea. So that now becomes a problem. Here's another thing, right? Here's another sulfur, right?
Mhm.
Let's talk about sulfur. Now 80, what is it, 70 to 80% of the sulfur is produced in the Middle East,
Yep.
right? And you need sulfur and sulfuric acid and all those aspects of sulfur for mining, right? And for everything from nickel. For nickel, 70%. Indonesia's nickel mines get 70% of the sulfur from the Middle East, right?
Right.
Or you want copper. You need sulfur for that. Where are you going to get? So the building blocks of our society, where you know pretty well that the cable that you run your electricity on is copper,
Yep.
right? And so the price of copper goes through the roof. All of a sudden, your air conditioner that you want to put in the back of your house, which needs copper tubing, you know, basically to run the refrigerant, it becomes very expensive. At the stage it's going, it might even be more expensive than the unit itself,
Yep.
and that's what I'm trying to drive at. So, I mean, we were all talking about going to the green energy, right?
Hmm.
But the problem with green energy is that it needs some of the fundamental building blocks to get to that green aspect of it. You need lithium, right?
Yep.
How are you going to do that? We can't do it. And not if this war continues, we're going to start this fundamental building blocks that we're looking at in society. Just forget about fuel. The
Yep.
fundamental building blocks are going to start breaking down.
Mm.
All right.
So,
So
so
all
Chago, how long do you think that the Iraq war lasted?
Iraq, which Iraq war? Are you talking Iraq Iran
The
war?
The U.S. Iran Iraq war.
That was a 3 week expedition, but that was not a
3 weeks.
biggie. Yeah.
That was 12.5 years, mate. You had
Oh, you mean, are you talking about
Operation
after that
Desert One,
occupation wise?
Operation Desert Storm One, Operation Desert Storm Two. Was it Fury or whatever they called it at that
No, no,
time?
Desert Storm. Yeah.
And then they went in, and the Americans were there till about 2013 when they
Oh
came
no,
out
no.
of it, right?
When you said the operation, I thought you were talking about the moment the tank
They-
started rolling to Baghdad. 3 weeks.
yeah, so it was. I mean, it was actually a war that went right throughout, right? First, they
Oh, then there was
went
the
in,
occupation. That's different.
occupation, and then
Yeah,
changing things around, taking
yeah,
control, blah
yeah,
blah blah.
yeah,
So yeah, so that took about 12.5 years.
yeah,
Afghanistan was almost what, 7 years, 7, 8 years, almost a decade.
yeah. It was almost a decade. Yeah.
So these wars are going to last. It's not as if the current war will stop in the next 3 weeks. It will continue in
Well,
one way or
look
the
at the
other.
way it's going. Yes, I mean,
In one
unless
way or the other, it's not as if it is suddenly somebody will say hallelujah and it stops. Everything is nice and buddy. People
I
shake hands
can't
and say, let's forget about it.
I can't see it stopping unless a country like India steps in and starts
Nah,
negotiating with all the parties.
I don't think India can do much there. Nothing.
You never know. I mean,
It
look,
is like people, there are things that people want from each other. And until they
right,
get that, they will not stop fighting, irrespective of whatever happens.
agreed, 100%. But this is one thing that there is a slight silver lining in this, right? There is a slight silver lining. So everyone knows that Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz. That's it. There's only one way out of it. But what they're now doing is saying, okay, we are going to allow certain countries to traffic, and you will now purchase everything in either yuan or rupees, right?
I don't
So
think they're using the rupees there to buy or sell anything.
there is, well,
No.
the thing is being
The
charged in
yuan,
yuan.
yes, they will. The yuan is going to be the main currency there because that's what China wants, right? China has seen a nice way of moving back in,
Of
and
course.
it is
So it's going to be
one
the
of the
petro
reasons
yuan
why
now.
Iran is just going to is still fighting is probably because China is just propping it up, and so yeah, make it stay there. You know.
No, I don't know whether that's the case, really, to be honest. I mean, they are fighting because they're looking at it from a point of view and saying, this is us. We either fall in line or would I mean, they're 2,000-year-old history. So I mean, they don't need. No one wants to be occupied. I mean, we would fight if this was to happen. Let's just park Iran for a minute, and if this was to happen to India, and somebody came to occupy us, we would fight for it. I mean, I would throw my thing down and go and pick up the AK-47 too. I mean,
Mm,
so let's.
mm,
I mean, look at everyone has pride, right? I mean, no one is going to just say, you know what, come and occupy us. And I mean, like, what do you think Trump said? Trump said we're going to bomb them to the Stone Ages where they belong. I mean, like, seriously, this man has not even studied history. Obviously, this is a country that is quite sophisticated and 2,000 years of history, and he's talking about the Stone Ages. I mean, it's insane. It's like coming to us and saying, "Oh, we Indians need to go back to." So that was what Churchill believed in too.
mm.
Unfortunately, he thought that Indians was, diabolically bad. That they should be suppressed all the way down. And you know what? And so we look at the end of the day. What I'm trying to drive at is everyone is going to fight for their freedom irrespective, and the second part of it also is that he has made it very clear. Previous administrations always used to caveat it by saying human rights and this and that and that. This guy just said, nah, I want your oil,
Yeah.
and we're going to own your oil, and we're going to make money out of it. It's just the same thing he's done to Venezuela. We're going to own your oil, and we're going to make money out of it. I mean, like, seriously, can you hear of anything that's more colonial than that? I mean,
Yeah, but we've already seen it in action before, right?
of course,
Who owns Iraq's oil?
Americans do.
Yep. So they've done it before. It's not
Oh
something new that they're coming up, and it was not Trump.
no, but they can.
All the, I mean, when they went into Iraq, where were all the human rights things? Nobody was caveating around
Of
human
course not.
rights there. When the war is on, nobody, they don't talk about that. It's
You,
when they
you
are on the receiving end or when they are trying to lecture somebody else, that's when they'll come up with the human rights
uh-huh,
bullshit.
500%, Chaudhary. I
Yep.
500% agree.
Or whether it's Russia that goes into Ukraine, then you start hearing of all these
Or
people
when India
screaming
and
of human
Pakistan
rights.
human rights or
Yep,
this or that
that's when the
human.
human rights will come.
But
Uh,
the worst offenders, Chaudhary, you know very well, are the Americans, the Brits, all the colonial guys are the worst offenders of human rights.
yeah,
You know, so I mean, they always use that cudgel, and that's what I would you call it, a cudgel of human rights. It's, oh, human rights violation, human rights violation. Excuse me. Look at America bombing a bridge. Look, bombing school children. Ah, that's
mm,
okay. It's all good. It's perfectly fine. You can bomb school children, kill them. Don't doesn't matter. That's not human rights. That's the good against the evil. You
yeah.
know. So, but
So
anyway, look, we
they
digressed.
all do it in one way or the other, and then just get away with it with different expressions for different parties, right? So that's
They
how they've been doing that.
they
One thing that I
control the
wanted
press,
to ask
though.
you about,
Sure,
yeah, they control. Who doesn't control the press? You have to
they do.
control the narrative, right? You drive the
Correct.
narrative. So to do that, you drive the press. And press, I mean, I'm sorry, I have lost complete faith in news. You don't know what to believe anymore, right?
100% agree with you
So
there.
it's the both sides that are making up stuff and throwing it out in the air, and whoever has the stronger narrative drive that narrative. We saw that during Operation Sindoor.
Operation Sindoor.
I mean, the Pakistan. I mean, listen to Pakistani narrative. You would have thought that India lost over 20 times in those
Forget
8 days.
Pakistani narrative. Did you when you read Reuters or New York Times?
And they are all the people working there are all Pakistanis that
It
write those
doesn't
articles.
it doesn't
So
matter,
they
but I
do
mean,
it.
like, yeah, they do it. And look at it now. America's lost how many planes?
Mm,
How many people have they lost? There is a rumor that they have lost nearly 700 people, but we're still getting six.
yep. And then I feel like asking Trump, how many plays did you say? Six, seven,
Oh, it
11.
was at one stage it was
And,
six. Then the next time it was seven. Another time it was eight. Pakistan
yeah,
was
no.
saying six. Oh, I don't know. God only knows how many.
Now I want to ask him how many American planes went down
Oh
every
God,
day in the
let's
morning.
not go there. But you did have a question. Now go ahead, please. You wanted to
Yeah,
ask me a
my
question.
question is, I mean, the world is not just going to sit around and watch and say, oh, things are so dire that people are going to starve because there's no urea or there's no helium or whatever it is.
Hmm.
They will find alternate routes, mate. They will not just sit on their backsides and wait for the war to be over. Necessity is the mother of invention, right?
Agreed.
So you might just see some new routes coming out of the blue.
100% agree with you there. But the thing, what we are facing also is that that transition from the old system to the new is going to take a bit of time. And
Yep,
that middle period, and usually it's like a ship, right? To steer a ship into berth, like you
y-
imagine those big, massive oil tankers, right? To steer it to go into berth, you have to start 5 to 10 kilometers away, so it can come in,
agreed.
right? So
Agree.
it's a ship of nations and a ship of the economy in sense, moving, transitioning it from what it was used to now. Like we look at Australia. Me and you live in Australia. We used to have eight refineries, 8 or 9 refineries in this country. How many do you think we have left? Two,
But probably two, one or two there.
one or two.
I'm not
Well,
even
most
any,
of it was
right?
coming, and most of our oil was coming from Singapore, right?
Yeah.
Now we have to look at what do we do? We have to build something,
Either
right?
build or whatever was there, restart that.
I
That will
mean,
take a little time, but eventually it will start going. And alternate routes, okay, Strait of Hormuz is closed, so they'll find some other way of moving things out. So,
here is the
as
thing.
much as the
I'll
situation looks
ask you this.
very dire, I don't honestly feel at this point in time that worry because people will find a way.
Okay. my question to you is this. Here is something that I look at, right? You you want to build a refinery, or you want to move into a new economy. The Iranians are charging 1 yuan, or is it equivalent of $1 in yuan per barrel as a toll, right? In the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot, right? So they're being very smart about it, because if they were charging, say, $5 or $7 or $10 per barrel, that would have created a problem where everyone are like, oh yeah, maybe we have to look at other things. But at $1 equivalent in yuan, everyone's looking and saying, well, we might as well just pay this, as long as obviously, you're not in one of those countries that is agreeing to support the United States. And France has gone in and said, "Yeah, no problems. We'll not agree with anything." In fact, Trump was busy insulting Macron's wife the other day, and it was pretty awful what he said. But anyway, that's beside the point. So France is like saying, "Yeah, well, we're fine. We got no issues." So they're going to start allowing the French guys they're allowing the Indians to come through. They're allowing the Pakistanis to go through. They'll allow the Russians to go through. The Chinese to go through. The ones that it will eventually come to two nations, basically, probably three. With the US, that will not be able to get anything, but then they've got their own LNG, no problems. Probably the United Kingdom, because UK is fully tethered to the US, so they're going to struggle with this, and Israel. That's it.
Yeah, but then they will find a way of getting it to them as well. So, I mean, look at it either way. People will find a way of getting around this thing. There are always ways of getting around. There might be a shortage for some time, but then eventually they will get around it. Look at it. Some time ago,
Hmm.
uh, when China said no rare earth materials, they're not sending out batteries or whatever they're supposed
Rare
to do
earth.
it, rare earth. What happened? For some time, there was a little shortage, but then things started picking up again. People moved on.
Rare earth. I'm going to say this. Rare earth is a bit of a misnomer. Everyone has rare earth.
They
The
do, but
diff
then
refining.
the
Yeah.
refining or the end products made of rare earth, right?
I can tell you now, for the next 30 years, not a chance. Not a chance. Because to build, let me put it this way to you. It's like building a nuclear power plant. A nuclear power plant from the start to the end to where it is. Look at the one in Tamil Nadu, or is it Vishakhapatnam? No, Tamil Nadu. How many years it has taken? It's taken 35 years. It is approximately 35 to 40 years for you. If you want to build a refinery in Jamnagar, let's say Jamnagar, you're talking nearly 25 years, dude.
Yep.
Right? So it's not as if you can snap the finger and say, "Oh, we got to
No,
get
no,
it." And guess
you
what?
can't. But
And you
then,
have the money. And
yeah,
secondly, you're looking at it and saying, "Hang on a minute, I need to have copper. How am I going to get copper? I need to have steel, but to power the steel, I need energy. But I don't have enough energy. So at the end of the day, who has plenty of energy? The Russians and the Chinese.
they
That's it.
will come up with some other corridors, man. The IMAC corridor is still there on paper. They're already started working on it.
Do you know what's the problem with rail, Chaudhary?
Hmm?
Do you know the problem with rail
Yep.
is it cannot match ships.
You cannot, but then eventually you need to move. Is moving something is better than moving nothing at all.
Oh yeah,
You can't just
but then
sit back and say, "Oh, Strait of Hormuz is closed, so we are not going to move anything."
no,
But
100%
eventually
agree
they
with you.
will, and then again,
Everything will find a way, because it's like water flow, lava flow. They will find a way. If there's an
they will
obstacle, you
find a
find a
way.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is.
Even the Yamak corridor is almost all forms of transport are involved there. You
Yes,
have
but
the
I can.
ships, then you have the rail, then you have ships again, and then you have the road.
Mm.
So it all works out there.
They haven't started the project though. You know that, right?
They've been working
Nobody
on
has the
it.
money to do it. Also,
But at some point in time, they will have to figure that out.
did you know? By the way, just as I'm just throwing a line. You probably knew this. One of the things that was going to happen down the line was India was going to actually supply power to the Middle East,
Yep.
undersea cables,
Hmm.
right? undersea cable power. That was one of the things that was coming through. Don't know how that is going to go now, simply because yeah, everything is a bit tits up. But yeah,
No, they will eventually find a way. It will still continue. Just from what I think, uh, the battle might be over, but then the war is not going to be over. They will still continue.
mm,
And at times, I feel it's just that both of them are just shadow boxing. I mean, who would have imagined that Iran is getting dollars for its oil after a very long time, despite all these sanctions?
you mean after
Yep. And that was supposed
Trump
to be for a
removed?
month. I don't think it's going to be for a month. So it's like the Americans saying, okay, make some money on the side.
I don't know, man. Look, the problem we have here is if it was, say, for example, a normal person sitting up there, it's fine. I mean, look at it. Trump one day will come in and says 15%. Day after tomorrow, get up on the wrong side and say 25%. And 3 days later, he gets up from the wrong side of the bed because Melania said something to him at night. He comes in and says, "No, I'm stopping everything." You know,
And then it restarts all over again. So
it
yeah,
starts all over again. So you don't even
we've
know what
gone
you're
through
fucking,
it.
what you're, sorry, dealing with.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's a different kettle of fish if it's an Obama or a Biden or anything, because once they're
They
scientists,
are
they all stick to this.
they are all the same. Okay. This guy was brought in specially to stir up and create some chaos. Okay. Which he has
Okay,
done pretty successfully. And
but
then
what do
what's
you
going to
gain out
happen?
of it?
Yeah, the change of in the world order, right? Because
How is that How does that favor the United States? Changing the world order. You're the only hegemon.
yeah,
Now
but
you've
then
claimed you've destroyed it.
America is a decline, power decline, right?
So why
We were
hasten it?
we were hoping that this would probably take another 10 years, but somehow or the other, it just happened very fast. I have a feeling that the powers in Europe and England wanted to take back power again.
How can they take? They don't have a military. They don't have anything.
Not military.
Forget.
The see, deep state doesn't work on military. It works on money, right?
They don't have the money. They're all broke, man.
The Americans are more broke.
Well, it's yeah. Look, I mean, 39 trillion and counting. Yeah,
Yep,
you're right. That's why
and
they're
counting.
going and invading countries and
They're
stealing their natural resources.
yes, so that they can last a little more. But
Yeah,
eventually, they are losing steam. At some point in time, it's all going to be gone, and the house of cards is just going to come down,
it is going to
right?
come down. The House of Cards. I mean, I think you're spot
It's
on. It is
pretty.
a House of Cards
It is already beginning to shake, right? And it's shaking pretty well.
heavily,
Though,
pretty heavily.
if you look at back what happened in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s,
Mm,
whenever there was this kind of a situation, you would have the whole of Europe, Australia, New Zealand, South Korea, Japan, everybody jumping into it, right?
mm.
You are either with us or against us. He tried to do that this time. And who is there with him? No one except Israel.
That
No,
that.
nobody wants to give him a hand.
Mm.
So America
I
is
mean,
fighting for itself
but
at
why
this
would
point
you?
in time.
Let me ask you this, Chaudhry. Let me ask you a question. Would you, if I ask, I'm going to put it in personal level. All right, let me put this personally to you. Would you help me, if every day I get up in the morning and insult you?
You won't. But then, see,
I mean, I'm asking you. Would you help
yeah,
me?
yeah. After a while, you just say, okay, take a walk, right? But then,
Exactly.
supposing I wanted to say, okay, fine, man, look, I'm tired of this guy bossing me around.
Yeah.
I want to build my own power and then just get rid of you. I would do the same as well. I just ignore what you're saying. And this is precisely what Europe has been doing, mind you.
I don't give Europe much of a chance. I mean, I'll see where this is going. This is my prediction with Europe.
See,
Germany is going to climb.
wait,
Germany is
wait,
going to come up.
just 1 second. Let me just finish it.
Yep.
After 45, 1945, the power shifted from Europe to America.
Yep.
And now what Europe is saying is somehow or the other, America, you're done, just sit on the side. We won't let you do what you like all the time now.
And
And they sort of take over power. And you have a multipolar world, okay, where you have US and their allies, you will have Europe and their allies, you will have China and their allies, and you'll have Russia and their allies. And then all these guys would be working among themselves rather than just have a bipolar world or a
what the
unipolar world,
unipolar world?
where United States wants the unipolar world, but that's not happening anymore. That's why you saw all these free trade agreements come up out of the blue. I mean, whoever heard of free trade agreements coming by the dozen 10 years ago?
You didn't, because it took nearly 10 years to get one going.
Yeah, but then when people saw the writing on the wall and it just suddenly came ta 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 ta,
Yep.
and everybody was there.
Yep.
So there must be a reason for that.
Of course, there is a reason for that.
Things don't happen out of the blue, right?
Things don't happen in a vacuum. You want to say?
Yep, or in the blue.
Yeah. No, look, I'm sure none of us have a crystal ball, but the way I look at it from my point of view is, yeah, Europe would be there, but it's a declining power. Russia definitely is a climbing power. They went through that. China is a climbing power. India is a climbing power. So there is going to be a number of different poles, as you said, that is going to kind of run the show moving forward, and they're going to come up with a set of rules.
A new
Previously was
set
the
of
United
rules.
Nations, a new set of rules in how we move forward and how we manage conflict and how we manage things moving forward.
Yep.
And I think
And
that's
to let me just ask you a couple of questions, okay?
sure.
So maybe by the time this war is over, most of the refineries in the Middle East they're going to go, right, because the Iranians are bombarding these guys anyhow. And the more America and Israel bombard them, they will hit back at energy centers, right? Along with that, you see lots of other destruction coming up in the Middle East. Dubai will not be Dubai, Saudi Arabia. They're all going to get hit. They've already been hit, but they'll be hit some more, right? And the war stops. And then now comes back reconstruction. Who do you think is going to benefit from that?
It won't be India,
Why?
because the Chinese can do it at a third of the price we do charge it.
What makes you think that the Chinese do it at a third of what
Because
we do?
they can deliver a project. Here's the problem with democracy and things. They
Hmm.
can deliver a project in record time at within budget, and sometimes even below budget that you've set, and get it done to you. We can't. Let's be brutally honest. Look, me and you have gone through Singapore. Me and you have gone through Singapore. Let me put something for you that is in context. Me and you live in Victoria. Me and you have seen how we built our tunnels here, and it went from $3 billion to $21 billion. I'm just giving a
That is Australia for you, right? But
yeah.
then
I
if you look
agree.
at some of the infrastructure that has come up in India now in the past
Uh-huh.
few years,
Yep.
you would be amazed.
No, I'm not.
Things
I'm
have changed.
definitely. I'm absolutely.
Okay.
What I'm
Second
talking
question.
about is.
Just hold on. I'll allow you to answer all the questions.
Mm,
When the war is over
mm,
and these guys won't have, they'll have crude, but they don't have refined because the refineries won't be working.
mm.
Where are they going to? Who are they going to reach out for refined products?
Refined products, there are only a couple of centers. One is us, one is China. But the problem is you got to pump it out of the ground. And to pump it out of the ground, if the thing is like Saudi Arabia got hit yesterday, right, by Iranians. So if they, to stop bringing it out of the ground in crude format before refining, um, whoever can do it at the cheapest at the most fastest possible time.
Yep.
Right now, say Qatar. This is what Qatar has lost 25% of its LNG process. Right? I mean, not just refining and in extraction process, right? For them, just that 25%. Do you know how long it's going to take them to build that back to capacity? Talking about 5 to 7 years. Just 25%.
Yep.
So imagine if there is a destruction of, say, the Saudi, crude extraction thing, and it goes by 50%. We can expect the price of crude to sit up at the 130, $140, because Venezuela, which got invaded, right? It, to rebuild, ExxonMobil came out and said it is going to take them rebuilding, bring it back to full capacity, would take at least 15 years.
I don't know about them, but then we have Reliance. Reliance is already there.
But
Reliance is going.
they're good at refining. They're not. ONGC is the
Yep.
company that
ONGC,
pulls out the crude, right? They do it in Guyana. They do it in
Venezuela owes ONGC about $2 billion.
owing is one. It's like, mate. I mean, it's like
And then,
Pakistan owing China, mate.
nah, nah, you don't compare India with China, mate, or Pakistan with India.
No, no, I'm not
Nah.
comparing. But what I'm saying is,
So,
it's Venezuela with India. If they don't have the money, how are we going to? What are we going to do?
listen, 20% of the crude oil in the whole of the world comes from the Middle East. Okay,
25.
25, 30%. Okay, there's still 70%. India used to get their crude from about 20 odd countries earlier in the past
Diversified to 40, 41.
41 or 44, right?
Hmm.
So even if you take out those guys, they'll still manage and they still have crude. And they will still be providing refined products to Europe, to
Hmm.
Middle East. I mean, aviation fuel, America imports from India. Do you know that?
Hmm.
So that is where we would have some substance where would be required.
I'm not.
Will
I'm
be
not
required in
talking.
constructions, right?
100% agree
That's
with you
where
there.
people are going to come to you. That is where your power will grow after the war.
So you're talking very similar to the British Empire. They take the raw materials, refine it, which is where India is refining, and that's where the power will lie.
Yeah,
Okay.
products
I yeah,
selling.
yeah, selling of products, refined products, high value products from the raw
Yep.
material.
And that is another reason why, because you have a good market, you have a very big market, a market that's always willing to buy, people will come and sell there, manufacture and sell there.
Okay. So
And
here is a
because
question
you
for you.
consume, 65 to 70% of the things that are produced there.
Mhm.
So it's just about 30% that you push out.
Okay.
That 30% is going to find a market in a lot of places.
Chaudhry, here's my question to you. If you are, say, let's say you're the United States and you're buying oil from us or whatever country it is, doesn't matter. We have a similar problem like the Iran problem, but ours is called the Pakistan problem. We go to war at a short blast, which will happen again, and you are aware of it, and I'm all of a sudden, and they lob one of their missiles on Jamnagar, which is not very far, by the way. Let's not kill ourselves.
Yep.
They send five. They send 100 of those. There's even if you have 98% accuracy, two of them will come through. So now, if you are the United States, you're thinking, do I need to hedge against this? Absolutely. And we
Look,
have a
yeah,
crazy neighbor.
yeah, we do. So I'm not sure there is some kind of a solution for that one as well.
Chaudhry, I'll put it this way to you. Remember what Khwaja Asif said. Or who was the guy that said it? No, it was Bassett, the former ambassador to India, who said, if the United States hits Islamabad,
But
they
why
will,
would
they will,
why would
they will bomb India.
Pakistan?
This is how crazy they are, man.
No, no, but why would US want to hit Pakistan?
Okay,
They're the
so
pet dogs, right?
no, no, but remember when Tulsi Gabbard went on to into the in the hearing, she said Pakistan is a problem.
Yep. So I mean, 5 years ago, or is it 7 years ago? Trump also the same thing, right? So why are you wasting money on Pakistan? Pakistan is a lost case, blah blah blah. And then sanctioned them, did a lot of stuff at that time. So
Mate, let me ask you this: we are both Indians. If you're a rational actor, would a country like Pakistan go and pick a fight with India, then pick a fight with Afghanistan, and they realize they're fighting everywhere, and then they've got nothing else. They don't even have enough fuel to you know uh, run their tanks, and they're now looking at, oh, maybe we should distract the Pakistani public because they're going to be charged 500 rupees per liter. Let's give another war to the Indians. I mean,
yeah,
this
but
is
then you need to have fuel to be able to fight, mate. If you don't have fuel, what are you going to fight? And then if it comes to the nuclear weapons, well, we'll go for it. You think they'll be just waiting for them to say, "Oh yeah, Pakistan, please shoot."
no, no, I
We'll
agree.
wait for you to shoot.
No, I agree. But the problem is the moment that exchange happens, then there goes all the economy that we've built up. That's the
Uh,
problem with it. We have
It
a
it
crazy
it
neighbor.
it
Let's be
it it
let's
it 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 may be, I mean, that's okay, but then you can't just sit down and fear and not do anything because you have a
absolutely.
crazy
I'm not
neighbor.
saying you don't, but what I'm trying to say is
You
that
work you work to get a solution for that, right?
mhm,
And both internally and externally, things are happening in India. Every second day they're busting sleeper cells in India.
yeah,
Every day you hear NIA or the state ATS picking up people,
yep,
breaking up people.
yep.
So they've been working extra time.
Look, I'm not saying they're not, but what I'm trying to drive at is, look, we can talk about the economy, but what I'm driving at is that we have a crazy neighbor who's quite capable of, whose ultimate goal is to destroy India.
Now, but see, this time when they go to war, they will actually destroy Pakistan.
Who
It's
will?
going to it's India. It's going to be a decisive battle for once and for all.
How are we going to do that? Explain it to me.
What do you mean? How are we going to do that?
How are we going to do this?
Maybe blow
Yes,
them up into smithereens, mate.
how?
You have nuclear weapons.
And we can't. We're not
You
going to use it. We have a non-first use policy, so we're never going to use it.
that is, I mean, that goes under the dust, mate, under the carpet. If you
Well,
have to
we'll
use
use it
it, you have to
first.
use it. Yes, why
I
not?
don't think so. We are not. We are. I don't think any government, and I say this humbly, I cannot see this government or any government going against that. Because we are a bunch, at the end of the day, we are a peace loving nation.
No, that's rubbish, man. Who says we are a peace-loving nation?
We,
Okay,
okay.
every day in
Historically, have
India,
we
you
invaded
no,
any
no, no,
country?
no, 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 no. That's all
Historically, have
rubbish.
we, boss, have we invaded any country? No, we haven't.
I mean, look at the history of India. I mean, when India was a number of states, there were always one war or the other war happening in India. So it was not a
Imposed on them.
peace-loving. No,
Imposed
no,
on
no,
them.
no, 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 no. Chandragupta Maurya, all these guys. What was his name? The guy who became a Buddhist, Ashok.
Ashoka.
Ashoka. What was he involved? He was involved in a genocidal war against his neighbors. What is Ramayana? It's a war, right? It's based on a
Yep.
war. Our
Yep.
classics are all based on war. So how do we come and say that we're a peace-loving nation? I don't fall for that thing, mate.
Okay. Well, I mean, look, it's anyway.
Mahabharata, the biggest war that happened in the world,
Mhm.
was war.
It is. It is war.
So yes, we probably will not go out and start killing people, but yes, but if somebody attacks you, you fight a righteous war and you
Yep.
give it your best and destroy the other guy who's there.
Hmm.
That's what's been happening in those classics as well.
Yeah. I'm not saying we don't fight our wars. We do fight our wars, but there is that perception, and you watch Durandar, they always think that we're a bunch of bunnies.
Yeah, yeah. So let them do that. Maybe that gives them the false bravado, and that's why they get slapped every time they try something.
There'll be a lot of look. Look. We all know that there's something is bound to happen in the not too distant future. Obviously,
Yep,
there's been because Pahalgam anniversary is coming up.
yep.
So,
Things are
uh,
stirring up. People are getting ready. They're not just sitting down, right?
mhm,
People are getting ready.
mhm, yep, I don't disagree with you there. But yeah, no, no, it's anyway. It's going to be fun and games. It's going to be a lot of churn,
Hmm.
and that's where we're heading.
Yep.
And because this churn is going to create a lot of muddy waters,
This
and then
turn,
someone is going to
this
rise.
chaos.
God only
Yep.
knows, and then out of that rise, we'll hopefully have a new world order,
Yep.
and that's
That's what
basically
the
where
game plan is, and that's what's actually happening.
right.
And let's see how the card falls down this time.
Let's see how the cards fall. But look, I mean, I guess the conversation was all about what is the downstream effect. We've just kind of quickly discussed that, and let's just hope that we don't have a situation where we're heading back to the 80s where we're going to see starving children. I'll tell you what is here is the thing, right?
You can still see starving children in Africa. Go to Sudan and go to Somalia. You see them there. They're still there.
I know
You go to Congo. You see it there, right? So it is
that's a
happening. I mean, probably you go to Iran or Iraq. You see them there as well.
I don't know about that, but we'll see. Uh, all right. Well, do you, any more questions for me, Mike?
Nope, not at this time, Chapo. It was nice talking to you, and hope we'll have another conversation very soon, and it won't be as long
Let's
as
do
it
that.
was.
We should do this more often, mate. We should have this open, honest conversation where we, I tell this to all our audience. Me and Chadri agree on a lot of things, but there's certain things that we don't agree on.
Yep,
And Chadri will correct me if he feels like now you're going on your own wayward thinking, but it's fine. It's the beauty of conversations, and it's the beauty of this kind of format where we just challenge each other,
yep,
and we end up at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is just put our opinions out there, and people can pick what they want that they feel that resonates with them. Correct?
right.
That's basically it. We're not experts, but we do follow things.
Yep. We
All
do and
right.
try to make sense of the chaos
We're
that
trying to make
we
sense out of
are
the
in.
whole thing too.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. We are trying to make sense out of the whole thing, and I mean, look, a lot of people trying to make sense out of it, and nobody can seem to be able to make sense out of it.
Uh-huh.
We're just throwing our hats into the ring and saying, let's also give it a try at making sense out of the whole thing.
True.
And at the end of the day, these varied opinions hopefully will distill into something in someone's mind to come up and say, yeah, this is what I heard from this guy, this is what I heard from this guy, and through that process of iteration, we hopefully will come up with a better idea.
Yep. Definitely.
All right. On that lovely note, I'm going to say thank you very much. Thank you, Alok. Obviously, it was great having this conversation. Thank you for interviewing me and allowing me to talk. To all our subscribers, thank you very much for subscribing. And for those who are
Like
not
and
subscribed,
subscribe, gentlemen,
please like,
ladies out there.
please,
Do that, and
please
Allah help
like
us
and
grow.
subscribe, and help us grow. And we'll look forward to having our next conversation. Hopefully, we'll come back with more geopolitical things in the coming weeks. All
Right.
right. On that lovely note, I'll say goodbye.